What's up, you sweaty nerds and greasy degenerates? Hanya has officially arrived in Honkai's Star Rail, and she's made a big splash. Not only is she a very powerful skill point generator with some great buffs, but she has the potential to keep a 100% uptime on her ultimate. At Eidolon 4, she gets a very powerful extension to her ultimate, making it last for 3 turns instead of 2. This means that if we build our Hanya properly, we can keep a permanent attack buff and a permanent speed buff on our main DPS. Yes, just like with Asta and just like with Pela, we can keep a 100% uptime on Hanya's speed and attack buff, which is attached to her ultimate. This is only properly achievable at Eidolon 4. So full disclosure, you're going to need Eidolon 4 to keep this up consistently. But let's go ahead and take a look at first some of the things we will need in order to achieve this ultimate. And then I will show you in Memory of Chaos 10 a demonstration of how we can achieve this 100% uptime on the ultimate, how you will want to operate in battle in order to keep it up, and how you can properly synergize with your DPS in order to maximize your damage. And believe it or not, in the demonstration that I'll show you, I'm going to use Dance, 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 a light cone that, believe it or not, gives you no extra energy. I highly recommend you do use a light cone that gives you extra energy, but I wanted to prove to you guys that you can still use Dance, Dance, Dance and still be able to achieve this with an Eidolon 4 Hanya. So let's get into the video. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to need in order to be able to keep a 100% uptime on our buffs through Hanya's ultimate. This is Hanya's Eidolon 4. The ultimate's duration is additionally extended for 1 turn. This is what truly makes this possible. This is what truly allows us to keep permanent attack and speed buffs on our main DPS through Hanya's ultimate. That extra turn is going to allow us to be able to create extra energy, which will be able to make this synergy work. Technically, you can do this without Hanya's Eidolon 4, but it's going to require, you know what I mean, getting lucky, kind of like getting hit, using Huohuo's ultimate, stuff like that, in order to be able to, like, synchronize it in some very odd and weird way. But if you have Hanya's Eidolon 4, you're able to do this with your hands tied behind your back, making it super duper easy to be able to achieve. So let's take a look at the light cones. In the demonstration that I'm going to show you, I'm going to use Dance, 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 which does not give you any extra energy, just to prove to you guys how easy this is to achieve when you have Hanya's Eidolon 4. Although I'm going to be using Dance, 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 I do highly recommend you use something like Meshing Cogs at Superimposition 5. It gives you 8 energy per turn, even if you get hit or CC'd. You could also use Memories of the Past, which basically does the exact same thing as Meshing Cogs, only it doesn't have the if you get hit effect. So technically Meshing Cogs is more consistent for the energy, but Memories of the Past is going to pretty much be just as good. It also does give you that extra break effect. You could even use Bronya's Light Cone, which gives you 10% energy regeneration rate at S1. It also helps you generate more skill points and give you a bit of an attack buff a damage buff on top of everything that you're already getting from Hanya's ultimate. So honestly, Bronya's is actually a pretty solid choice as well if you have Hanya's Eidolon 4. This was what really makes Hanya powerful. Her big power spike is truly her Eidolon 4. But like I said, you can use Dance, Dance, Dance or something else as well if you have her Eidolon 4. So again, Meshing Cogs or Memory of the Past are the best light cones to use. You could use Bronya's signature or even Dance, Dance, Dance with, again, Hanya's E4. Now let's take a look at the relics that we're going to need to be able to achieve this. These are, by the way, requirements, the relics. There's no if, and, or buts. You have to have these or it's not going to work. You're going to want to have an energy regeneration rope, and specifically, you're going to want to use a certain planar set. There are 2 options, technically. I recommend using the Penacony's Land of the Dreams 2-piece. The 2-piece gives you 5% energy regeneration rate, but it also increases damage by 10% for all other allies that are of the same type as the wearer. So if you have a physical type DPS or any other physical type character on the same team as Hanya, that character would get 10% damage bonus as well. You could technically use Sprightly. Sprightly also gives you the 5% energy regeneration rate, but it doesn't have as good of a secondary bonus as the new Penacony set does. So I would again recommend using the Penacony set, and you have to have an energy regeneration rope for it. You could technically use Sprightly though if you don't have it. So that's that, but you're also going to want to pay attention to one of Hanya's traces. When Burden's skill point recovery effect is triggered, this character regenerates 2 energy. So you are going to want to make sure that your Hanya is built very heavily around speed. There are 2 reasons for this. If she's built for high speed, she's going to give an even bigger speed buff to your main DPS, because Hanya has, through her ultimate, she gives 20% speed buff of Hanya's speed to the target that you are buffing. So the higher Hanya's speed, the better the buff that you give. But on top of this, the higher her speed, the more likely she is to get more accessibility, more turns, allowing her to place burden on enemies whenever you need to do it in order to be able to not only gain herself energy for her ultimate, but also to maintain burden on the enemy. This will help your overall damage. This will help your overall skill point generation through her abilities. And this will also allow her to be able to generate some energy through her trace. So this is part of what makes it all possible. So don't forget about building her for some speed. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the demonstration. All right, so here we are, Memory of Chaos 10. Honestly, where we are does not matter at all. This is just a controlled environment so that I can fairly show you guys an experiment here, a demonstration, I guess you could say, of how we can keep a 100% uptime with Hanya's ultimate. Basically, a permanent speed buff, a permanent attack buff with Hanya. So you'll notice for this experiment, this Himiko that I'm using is going to be the main DPS, and you'll notice that her relics are garbage, her stats are terrible, she's not properly leveled. This is all on purpose. I don't want you guys thinking that I'm using any special gimmicks during this experiment in order to achieve anything. This is a fair experiment, and you'll notice that I have Huohuo here. She's just there to make sure that nobody like important dies during the experiment. To be honest, like I'm not, for instance, going to use Huohuo's ultimate. This is a fair experiment. So let's keep on moving here. Hopefully nobody dies. Let's go ahead and use the skill once more. This should give us our ultimate. So you see we have Hanya's ultimate available. Let's make sure it's on our Himiko. Then we're going to check our stats here. We're going to check in on the Himiko. She now has Edict. Edict is the buff that Hanya gives. We gave it to Himiko, so we're going to keep track of it here. It increases the attack by 60% and speed by 37% for 3 turns. Hopefully she doesn't die. Her stats are so bad. Hopefully nobody else dies either. If anyone dies, it's fine. As long as we can keep the right people alive here, that's all that really matters. So let's go ahead and pray for our Huohuo, that Huohuo doesn't die and the experiment is ruined. Oh no, Huohuo. Oh no. I should have brought a tank. It's just an experiment, right? I should have brought a tank. So just to make sure she doesn't go down here, let's go ahead and put this up. Cool. Very nice. Very good. Jesus. All right. So let's go ahead and continue forward. We're going to, like I said, keep an eye on the buffs. Keep an eye on our Himiko here. So now and we're going to use the ult with the DPS because that's what you would do in any scenario, right? So let's go take a look. Edict is still active. There's 2 turns remaining on it now because Himiko has now had a turn. So she still has the Edict buff active, as you can see, 60% attack, 37 speed. So let's continue forward. Somebody did die. That's like not that important. Hanya is going to keep attacking the main boss so that Hanya doesn't get any extra energy she shouldn't already have. So let's keep on moving here. Now that you guys get how the experiment works, I'm going to try to just kind of breeze through this a little bit. So in that scenario, you see the follow-up attack coming out from Himiko. That does give Himiko more energy, but that doesn't matter because the only one that we're worried about getting any extra energy they're not supposed to have is Hanya in this experiment. So just in case, I'm going to use a skill point with Huohuo, keeping the health up of the team for the experiment. So keep on moving. And you might notice now that we have an ultimate available for Hanya. Okay, stop it. Stop killing everyone. Stop killing everyone for like 2 seconds, man. Jesus Christ. All right, so let's go take a look here. Edict is still active for another turn, and we currently have an ultimate available with Hanya. So this is how we can keep a 100% uptime on our Hanya's ultimate. So let's go ahead and I guess just what's the turn order there? Perfect. So let's use the skill, and we have had this ultimate available. We just have it available. It is still available. So you just saw that we used her last remaining turn available for the ult. So what you would do in this scenario is Himiko has her ult available now, but she doesn't have the buff. So what you would do is you use Hanya's ult, you give Himiko the buff now, and now you can use Himiko's buff. Or sorry, you can use her ultimate. So that's how you can keep a 100% uptime on Hanya's ultimate and also synergize properly, because you guys might not be aware of this, but if you don't use the ultimate with your main DPS properly, the way it syncs up like I just showed you, you might not have that ultimate buffed with the main DPS. Pay attention to this menu here so that you don't accidentally use Himiko's ultimate without making sure this buff is active. So now you can see Edict is active. We just used that ultimate while she was buffed, which is what you want. 100% uptime on a buff for your main DPS, which we can do with our Hanya, which is incredible. This is going to elevate Hanya's potential as a support. This is going to elevate certain DPS's potential, such as Dan Hung and Bibitor Lune, because of the skill point efficiency with Hanya, as well as the fact that she can keep a 100% uptime on the ult while she's staying skill point efficient for your entire team. So as you saw in that very poorly executed demonstration, that was an absolute worst case scenario. You can totally just use meshing cogs and memories of the past, or even the signature light cone from Bronya, and be able to achieve her 100% uptime with her ultimate much more easily, keeping a permanent attack and speed buff on your main DPS. I just wanted to prove to you guys that you can use Dance 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 as well. You would just have to spam some skills with Hanya in order to be able to do it. If you use Meshing Cogs, or The Battle Isn't Over, or Memories of the Past, you can actually use a basic attack every once in a while and still be able to achieve the permanent uptime on your buffs. I just wanted to prove a point with Dance 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 that it is achievable with that light cone as well. Anyways, if this video was helpful or informative in any way, shape, or form, please consider leaving a like or subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.